In April of 2015, the State Bar learned of an email hacking scam targeting real estate closings. This scam has caused hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in losses in North Carolina and millions more nationwide. The scam, as has been described in urgent email alerts, newspaper articles, and in live seminars, targets lawyers the following way. First, the attacker compromises the email account of a party to a real estate transaction. It may be the real estate agent, the buyer or seller, or even the lawyer. In this example, let's say the email account was the account of Jane, a real estate agent. Jane, the agent, was helping Mr. and Mrs. Smith sell their home. Bob, the lawyer, was the closing attorney. By gaining access to Jane's email account, janetheagent@gmail.com, and monitoring her emails, the attacker learns all of the information related to a particular loan closing, including the amounts to be paid, the names and email addresses of the parties, buyers and sellers, the closing attorney, and the closing date. The attacker then creates an email account with a nearly identical email address as Jane's. Often the address is only one letter different. Instead of janetheagent@gmail.com, this account is janetheagent@mail.com. Did you catch the difference? Using that different account, the attacker sends Bob the lawyer a fake or spoofed email purporting to be and looking identical to an email from Jane saying that Mr. and Mrs. Smith have notified me that they will be out of town for the next few weeks and request that you wire the sale proceeds to their bank account in lieu of sending a check. I've attached the wire instructions. If you have questions, please call Mr. Smith at 919-555-1515. Thanks, Jane. Bob the lawyer receives the email. He decides to do his due diligence and call to confirm this request with his client, Mr. Smith. He calls the number Jane provided in the email. The man who picks up the phone identifies himself as Mr. Smith and confirms the amounts and wire instructions. Now confident in the authenticity of the instructions, Bob the lawyer wires the proceeds of the sale to the account provided in the wiring instructions. We all know what happens next. 2 days later, Bob the lawyer gets a call from the real Mr. Smith asking when he should expect his check to arrive in the mail. Bob, his stomach quickly dropping, reminds Mr. Smith that he wired funds to his bank account per his request. Mr. Smith has no idea what Bob is talking about and demands his proceeds immediately. Bob frantically calls his bank. Too late, the money is gone. This scam is attempted on a daily basis throughout North Carolina. Here are some tips to ensure that it remains only an attempted, not successful scam. Do not allow changes in disbursement methods to be made via email. Plain and simple. Follow the words of the DARE program and just say no. If the client or other party wants to change how the proceeds will be delivered, require that they come into the office to make any changes. This is the safest way to ensure that funds are not lost to this scam. If you're going to deal with financial information over email, make sure that you confirm all emailed instructions with a phone call to a number that you know is good, one that is in your client file. Bob the lawyer had the right instincts when he called Mr. Smith, but he used the number provided by the attacker instead of checking his file to get Mr. Smith's real number. Additionally, make sure that the lawyer is the one initiating the call. In one of the real-world scenarios the bar learned of, the attacker called the firm posing as the agent to let them know they had sent an email. While many real estate lawyers have switched or are switching to secure email, consider requesting that all parties to the transaction use secure email when relaying or transmitting financial information. Free email accounts are the most susceptible to hacking. Stop and take the time to read the email addresses, not just the sender's name, on any email containing financial instructions. This scam is inflicting a significant harm not only to lawyers, but to the public, who has had to deal with loans not being paid off and funds going unpaid. Please spread the word to your employees and fellow lawyers about this scam so that no one else becomes a victim. Contact the State Bar or Lawyers Mutual with any questions or if you believe you are the subject of an attempted scam. Thank you for your attention to this urgent matter.